Good morning, sir, and everyone present here. Today, me, Soumyadeep Jana, and my friend Srijita will presenting on the topic battery power cars and its effect on the environment. Here we can see the contents of this particular PPT. First, introduction, then the types of vehicles, then electric car batteries, working mechanism, why we need battery power cars, increasing demand, companies selling battery power cars, pros and cons of battery power cars, and finally, effect on the environment. These are the members of this particular PPT. Next, coming to the introduction. What is battery power cars? A battery power car generally refers to road-going automobiles powered by battery, propelled by one electric motor or more using batteries. The first practical electric car was produced in the 1880s. Electric cars were popular in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. Here we have widely divided how many types of battery power cars are available. Battery power cars can be divided into solar cars and electric cars. Electric cars can be further divided into BEV, PHEV, and HEV. Now let's learn them in detail. Types of electric vehicles. And number one, battery electric vehicle or BEV. A battery electric vehicle, BEV, also called all electric vehicle, runs entirely on a battery and electric drivetrain. These types of electric do not have an ICE. Electricity is stored in a large battery pack that is charged by plugging into the electricity grid. The battery pack, in turn, provides power to one or more electric motor to run the electric car. Number two, hybrid electric vehicle or HEV. This type of hybrid cars is often called as standard hybrid or parallel hybrid. HEV has both an ICE and an electric motor. In this type of electric cars, internal combustion engine gets energy from fuel like gasoline and other types of fuels, while the motor gets electricity from the batteries. The gasoline engine and electric motor simultaneously rotate the transmission, which drives the wheels. Next, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, also known as PHEV. PHEV is a type of hybrid vehicle that has both an ICE and a motor, often called as series hybrid. This type of electric cars offer a choice of fuels. This type of electric cars is powered by a conventional fuel such as gasoline or an alternative fuel such as biodiesel and by rechargeable battery pack. Here there is a diagram comparing conventional cars with hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and all electric. Now let's proceed to the next. Electric car batteries. Electric car batteries are one of the most important in a car system. In battery electric cars, batteries are only life because only electrical energy stored in the batteries is the only source of energy driving the BEV cars. Different types of electric car batteries. First, we have lithium-ion battery. Lithium-ion battery is the most widely applied in BEV electric cars. This battery is also used in portable devices like cell phones and laptops. It is in a much greater scale in EVs. Few key features of lithium-ion batteries are as follows. They have a very high power to weight ratio, high energy efficiency, and they also has a low self-discharge level. Types of lithium-ion battery: lithium iron phosphate, LiFePO4, also known as LFP; lithium manganese oxide, LiMn2O4, also known as LMO; lithium cobalt oxide, LiCoO2, also known as LCO. Next, we have nickel metal hydride. Nickel metal hydride batteries are more widely used by hybrid electric vehicles or HEVs. They are also used successfully in some BEV cars. These batteries have a longer life cycle than normal SLA batteries. These batteries are safe and tolerant of incorrect usage. Few disadvantages of nickel metal batteries: their price is relatively more expensive. They have a high self-discharge rate, and they generate significant heat at high temperatures. Number third, we have lead acid or SLA batteries. SLA batteries are the most oldest rechargeable batteries. Compared to lithium and nickel metal hydride, lead acid batteries do not lose capacity and are much heavier, but the price is relatively cheap and safe. SLA batteries are now only used by commercial vehicles as a secondary storage system. Number four, we have ultra capacitor. This type of electric vehicle battery actually stores polarized liquid between the electrode and the electrolyte. As the surface area of the liquid increases, the energy stored capacity also increases. Like SLA batteries, ultracapacitor batteries are very suitable as secondary storage devices in the electric vehicles. Here is another diagram comparing all four different types of batteries used in EVs. Next, we have the working mechanism. How does an electric car work? So when the pedal of the car is pressed, then the controller takes and regulates electric energy from batteries and inverters. With the controller set, the inverter then sends a certain amount of electrical energy to the motor according to the depth of the pressure on the pedal. Electric motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy, which is also known as rotation. This rotation of the motor rotates the transmission. As a result, the wheels turn and then the car moves. Working principles of BEV. Power is converted from the DC battery to the AC for the electric motor. The accelerator pedal sends a signal to the controller, which adjusts the vehicle speed by changing the frequency of the AC power from the inverter to the motor. The motor connects and turns the wheels through a cock. When the brakes are pressed or the electric car is decelerating, the motor becomes an alternator and produces power, which is sent back to the battery. Working principles of each EV. It has a fuel tank that supplies gas to the engine like a regular car. It also has a set of batteries that run an electric motor. Both the engine and the electric motor can turn the transmission at the same time. Next, we have working principles of PHEV. PHEVs typically start up in all electric mode and operate on electricity until their battery pack is depleted. Once the battery is empty, the engine takes over and the vehicle operates as a conventional non-plug-in hybrid. Other than plug-in charging of the battery, PHEV batteries can be charged by an internal combustion engine or regenerative braking. Now, what is this regenerative braking? During braking, the electric motor acts as generator, using the energy to charge the battery. From here, I will hand it over to my friend Srijita. Thank you.
Thank you, Soumyadeep. Good morning, one and all present here. The next thing we'll see is why we need battery powered cars. Here we have discussed why battery powered cars will be more efficient and useful in the coming future. Number one, disadvantages of petrol and diesel cars. Petrol and diesel cars are the main cause of air pollution. Diesel engines often run into compliance issues with environmental norms. Petrol versions haven't been much of success with bigger vehicles. Number two, increasing oil and diesel prices. Due to the pandemic, the oil producing countries continue with slow production and it increases, leading to a rise in oil and natural gas prices. Number three, non-renewable resources. As we know that petrol and diesel are non-renewable resources, which means the consumption of these resources are higher than its production. This will bring a lack of these resources in the near future. Move on to the next slide. Okay. Demand for EVs. Here we have written some points to discuss the increasing demand of EVs. Number one is one-time investment. We know that EVs are more expensive than conventional cars. Though being cheaper, conventional cars need more servicing, which means more cost of maintenance. But on the other hand, EVs needs very less servicing as it has less number of moving parts. This decreases the maintenance cost. So EVs are more good in case of one-time investment. Number two, pollution free. As we know, conventional vehicles releases harmful gases like NO, SO2, CO, which are one of the main causes of air pollution. But EVs releases zero to less emission than conventional vehicles, while running EVs are quite silent than conventional vehicles, which doesn't add up sound pollution in the environment. Number three, high sales in recent years. Due to the above discussed points, many people in the world are preferring to buy EVs than conventional cars. By seeing the graph, we can observe the rise of sales of EVs over the year. Next one. Okay. Here are some of the automobile companies that sells battery powered cars. Number one, Tesla. As we know, Tesla is a very popular automobile manufacturing company that is making electric vehicles for few years. Right here, we have two famous cars from Tesla. Tesla Model S, Tesla Model X. Next one. Number two, BMW. BMW is a German-based car company that has been producing different types of cars like coupe, sedans, and luxury vehicles. But at the times are changing, BMW has also started producing electric vehicles. Some of them are present right here. BMW i8, BMW i3 concept. Next one. Number three, Honda. Honda is a Japan-based car manufacturing company that was founded in 1948. Normal conventional Honda cars are very popular in the streets of India. Honda has showcased some of its electric vehicles that are going to be in production by the year 2030. On the other hand, Honda Clarity Electric was launched on December 2016 in the USA. Honda E, Honda Clarity Electric. Next slide. Number four, Toyota. Toyota is another Japan-based automobile manufacturing company that was founded in 1937. Toyota is another famous car brand that we'll see all over India. Toyota Camry, as we see, is a hybrid car. It has both a fuel-driven engine and a motor. Toyota Prius is another very popular hybrid car by Toyota. It is popular in the USA, but is also available in India. Next slide. Okay. Pros and cons of battery-powered cars. Number one, for pros, much higher efficiency. Electric cars have very higher energy efficiency than fossil fuel burning models. Battery powered cars are known to benefit from energy efficiency of up to 62%. This means that a high amount of electric energy is converted into the power source of the vehicle in comparison to fuel or diesel vehicles. Number two, zero emission. One of the biggest advantages of electric cars is zero emission. This is a huge advantage as EVs lead to a sizable cut in vehicular pollution. Number three, electric cars are also quite easier to maintain as they have less number of moving parts. Next slide. Cons. Number one, limited by range. Most petrol and diesel cars on sale in the country offer a driving range of anywhere between 500 to 700 km on a full tank. On the other hand, best of the electric cars sold in India won't clock more than 400 km on a single charge. Number two, limited number of charging stations. With a really limited number of charging stations available in India, the drivers of electric cars subconsciously stay anxious about running out of battery power without charging station in sight. Hence, electric cars are less suitable for long road trips. Number three, charging takes longer than fueling up. It doesn't take any more than a couple of minutes to completely fill the fuel tank of a petrol or a diesel vehicle, whereas EVs can take up to 30 minutes to full charge even with a fast charger and up to 8 hours by a basic charger. Number four, electric cars are much more expensive than normal petrol car or diesel cars. Next one. Effect on the environment. Some of the points are discussed here on how the EVs affect the environment. Number one, electric vehicles have different environmental impact compared to conventional cars. Some models producing little or no emission and have some potential to reduce dependence on petroleum and greenhouse gas emissions. Number two, electric motors are significantly more efficient than internal combustion engines, and this even accounting for typical power plant efficiencies and distribution losses. Less energy is required to operate an EV. Producing batteries for electric cars requires additional resources and energy, so they may have a larger environmental impact for production phase. Number three, pollution emitted in manufacturing, especially the increased amount from producing batteries. Number four, passive pollution in certain cases. Electricity consumed for recharge is obtained from power plants, which release pollutants. Thus, even though during movement pollutants are not released, the electricity utilized has already polluted. Next one. Conclusion. As we are reaching at the end of the presentation, let me conclude this presentation with saying that electric vehicles are the future. Everything in the world comes with an advantage and disadvantage, which is similar for EVs. Electric vehicles doesn't require fuel or diesel to work. Hybrid EVs are more fuel efficient than conventional ICE engines. Also, electric vehicles come with a low maintenance cost as they are much more environment friendly, and these vehicles doesn't have any harmful emissions coming out of the tailpipe, which decreases the air pollution. On the other hand, electric vehicles are more expensive than conventional cars and they doesn't have a good mileage. though they do not affect the environment directly, but they create passive pollution. The sales of electric vehicles are increasing day by day. Probably in the next 40 years, the 90% of the vehicles present in the world will be EVs. Next slide. Okay. At first, I would like to express my special thanks of gratitude to our teacher, Sir Soumyadeep Gorai, who gave us the golden opportunity to do this amazing presentation on the topic battery powered cars and its effect on the environment, which helped us a lot of research and we came to know so many new things. We are really thankful to him. Secondly, I would also like to thank my family members and my friends who helped us a lot in finalizing this project within the limited time frame. Next one. Okay. Here are some of the websites that we have used to gather information about this project. Next one. Thank you all for your patience. I wish you all a very good morning.